Hello, everyone. I'm Jim Garrison. I want to welcome you to this session of Humanity Rising. Today is the Day of All Hallows. This is a day around the world where cultures from literally time immemorial have recognized that the veils between the worlds, between life and death, the living and the dead, are particularly thin. It's an extraordinary moment in the calendar of the year when these veils become porous. We want to note that because today we are commemorating the 40th death day of Mahsa Amini, a young Iranian woman just over 40 days ago, 22 years old, with her family in Tehran, who was essentially beaten to death by the morality police because she didn't have her hijab on correctly. This sparked a revolutionary moment in the history of Iran as young women across the country took off their hijabs and catalyzed the most massive protests to occur in Iran since the mullahs took control of the country back in 1979. Taking off the hijabs was a revolutionary act because when the Ayatollah Khomeini and the clerics seized power in 1979, they said that the most important thing that they needed to accomplish was to put the women in hijabs because that was the way to control the women. So to have young women en masse across Iran take off their hijabs and take to the streets, igniting a protest that is increasing in its intensity, in its widespread support, not only inside the country, but outside the country, is a very important moment. So today we want to honor and commemorate not only the death of Mahsa Amini, but the scores of young women who have protested, but also been killed by the morality police and the security forces. We also want to have time in meditation so that we can send an intention to these young women and indeed all the revolutionary forces in that country so that they can be empowered to do what needs to be done to overthrow that regime and bring in a way of governance and a society that honors woman, life, and freedom. So that's why we're here today. And this is the first day of a 5-day program, really looking at life, freedom, women in Iran in a particularly focused way. I want to now welcome Banafsheh Sayad, who's Iranian born, whose whole family endured the events of 1979, were exiled as thousands of people and families were, and who's been working to create more understanding around what's happening in Iran, and has really focalized the death and revolt that's going on over the last 6 weeks on Humanity Rising. So Banafsheh, I want to thank you for everything that you've done to bring this to world attention and turn the program over to you with many thanks.
Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you. Hello to everyone. Durud. I am Banafsheh, connecting from Topanga, California today, the sacred lands of the native Tongva people. I'm so grateful to everyone for tuning in on different platforms and from different countries, for being here with us as we commemorate the 45th day since the passing, the murder of Mahsa Amini, and the beginning of an uprising, which is shaping up to be the world's first women-led revolution in Iran. The Islamic government has been cracking down hard, killing hundreds of protesters, including teenage girls, and arresting thousands, with the average age of prisoners being 15. In light of this, as an Iranian who was forced into exile 39 years ago, I, along with a small team of heart-centered people, have organized this intention event for Iran based on the central slogan of the uprising, woman, life, freedom. This event comes as a response to the call of the amazing women in Iran, some of the women the world has been witnessing, rising up so bravely and courageously, putting their lives on the line for freedom and justice, not just for themselves, but for all the people of Iran, unafraid to risk everything. I bow to these women, the girls, and all who have risen up. How can we as a people who believe in the power of energy, the power of love, the power of light, contribute to this movement? An incredible awakening has taken place, but as we know, the path is arduous and challenging, and we have been called to keep the energy up and strong, holding the web, the grid of light, joining our hearts and spirits as light workers with brave women, girls, boys, and men who have risen up. The ignition was divine intervention, a message from the heart of the Great Mother, the divine feminine, urging us to wake up and open our eyes and see what is happening in our world. Mahsa Amini, who with her initials MA represents Ma, the Great Mother, was crucified. Her name is Jina, her name means life, and Mahsa means moonlight. She was crucified in the darkest dominions of patriarchy for appearing in public the way she wanted to, even though very modest and not in her full Kurdish splendor. Crucified for her beauty, crucified for being a woman. And from this darkest, most oppressive of places, we are witnessing a dawning, the birth of a new story of unity, of interconnectedness. Not only have groups of people in Iran who oppose this regime, but have had conflicting viewpoints from one another united, and millions of us Iranians who were forced to leave our homeland are rallying together from different corners of the world where we have been living in exile after 43 years. The whole world is coming together around the slogan, woman, life, freedom. The goddess is guiding us into honoring the feminine, honoring life, and our creative autonomy as human beings once again. She's guiding us into oneness, to reclaiming justice and freedom for all beings, to come into right relations with the greater eco field, to birth a new story. And we are here to pour our love and light into the birth of this new story that is emerging from Iran, along with millions of others focused on birthing this story, bringing this great change, which has already happened because so many people have gone beyond their self-interest and united, naming injustice for what it is and being willing to fearlessly risk their lives for what they know is right. This in itself is so enormous. This is a huge explosion of love and light that zoom will carry us through undoubtedly. But this is why we are here, to hold this interconnected web with certainty that the people of Iran will triumph and free themselves from this criminal government that does not serve its people as peacefully as possible, making this change be as peaceful as possible, but letting the certainty of holding this intention also move through us and inspire us to come into right relations, to face the truth within our own lives and bring clarity to our relations, bring clarity to everything that we do as much as possible, to the situations we find ourselves in, to make peace. For if we want peace for Iran, if we want peace for the world, we need to create peace in our own lives. And let's not forget that lifting the hijab from such a dark place on our planet, freeing it, will have incredible repercussions around the world. In today's program, we will hear from Sri Preethaji, Andrew Harvey, and Marianne Williamson. After their blessings, I will invite you to move with me, release stagnant energy, and ground and center yourself before Lynn McTaggart's guided intention. In closing, I will invite the whirlers among us to whirl with me, spiraling our shared intention, love and light toward Iran. I feel it's very appropriate to dance and free ourselves in the name of woman, life, freedom. As you may know, this regime has tried to suppress dance more than any other art form. So we lift up dance, the art of dance, into the light, as dancing has always uplifted us. And before I introduce our next speaker, I would like to let you know that for the next 4 days, as Jim was saying, we will be focusing on Iran here on Humanity Rising by listening to and exploring the different voices on the liberation movement through politics, art, and spirituality. We have great speakers like Dr. Mariam Sayad, Pupak Halri, Kambiz Nafisi, Dr. Stephen Zunis, and our beloved V. So for those of you watching the live streams, please visit humanityrising.solutions to join us during the week. So now let's come back again to today's program. We are very blessed to have Sri Preethaji, spiritual teacher, philosopher, and co-founder of ECAM, a center for enlightenment in India. We're blessed to have her with us to give a blessing to the freedom fighters of Iran. So I turn it over to you, Sri Preethaji. Welcome.
Namaste. Prayers work, and when we pray as a collective, they work even powerfully. And they will also inspire us into collective action. I have seen this on thousands of occasions. I appreciate Humanity Rising and Banafshi for connecting all of us today. We are collected today for the women of Iran. We are collected in our consciousness. We are interconnected with every living being on this planet. Therefore, the indignity, the cry for freedom, life, and respect for the millions of women in Iran, it reverberates in our consciousness. Their peace is our peace. Their sorrow is our sorrow. From this awareness of our oneness, let us pray today for revolution in Iran's thinking towards her woman. Let us pray that all that is redundant, all that is destructive, and all that is hurting fall away from the culture of Iran and from all humanity. Let us pray that every woman of Iran live in freedom and dignity. Please close your eyes. Place your palms on your heart and breathe slowly. Let us connect to the women in Iran. Feel the frustration, the fear, and the cries of women for freedom. Feel them as if they were you. Now ask the universal intelligence, the God consciousness in your heart, and the God consciousness that is there in all life. Ask that there be a revolutionary shift that would unfold in their consciousness. that would unfold in their lives. For them to experience freedom. Hold an intention that you will do your part for this noble cause. May we move from untruth to truth. May we move from darkness to light. May we move from death and fear to immortal bliss. Let there be peace in our hearts. Let there be peace in all humanity. Let there be peace for all living beings. Slowly open your eyes. Namaste. I appreciate your beautiful vision.
Much, Sri Preethaji. Thank you so much. What a beautiful guidance. What a beautiful journey. What a beautiful intention. May it be so.
Namaste.
Namaste. So, dear ones, I would like to now introduce my dear friend, our beloved Andrew Harvey, who is a scholar, a mystic, author of more than 30 books, and the founding director of Sacred Activism. Andrew is currently en route to India, but he recorded a video message for the freedom fighters in Iran, as well as those of us living in the US. So let's listen to Andrew.
Every day. My beloved friends, when I was in the most difficult period of my life, and my life was threatened every day, a great hero of truth said to me, "You can never change anything that you are not prepared to die for." And at that moment, I realized I was being told the truth that you, heroic and amazing beings, are now living out with all your courage and all your passion for freedom and justice. And I want to say to you from the depths of my heart that I honor you, I'm in awe of you, I'm humbled by your capacity for truth and sacrifice, and I offer you my voice and any advocacy that I can do on your behalf, because what you are showing, not only your own wonderful people, but the whole world, is what it means in a time as devastating and cruel as the one we find ourselves in, really to effect change. I know too, from the depths of my own experience, how sometimes terrified and lonely and aghast you must feel. I know what it feels like to risk your life and all your dreams and all your hopes for something bigger than yourself: freedom, justice, truth. And I want you to know that I and all the real teachers on this planet are behind you with everything we are to give you the superhuman strength that you need, the superhuman belief that you need, in the best of humanity, because you are the best of humanity. I also want to say to you that I know you will win. And in the deepest sense, you have already won. You won when you burned your hijab. You won when, despite your fears, you went out into the streets knowing that you could be killed. You won when, having no observable power, you put your own bodies as the price for your courage into the battle for a new world. You won, and you didn't just win for yourselves, you won for all the best in all of us. And you have given us, whatever happens to you personally, a deathless example of what we all need to rise to at this moment, to be able to deal with the erupting crises that are threatening human life and animal life all over the planet. But this isn't the only way you have won. You will win this struggle. The arc of justice is bending towards you. The whole civilized world is behind you. Everyone of deep goodwill, everyone who knows that the only possible world is a world in which women are absolutely free from all forms of oppression, and all beings are celebrated, whatever their sexuality or religion or lack of religion, and are given the dignity of a real society founded in democracy. You will win this struggle. And something amazing will happen when you have won, because you will have been forged in the atrocious fire of real suffering and real sacrifice. And you will have the skill, the intelligence, the compassion, the passion, the deep understanding of the best and the worst in human nature that will make you astounding leaders and astounding creators of a new Iran, an Iran that's founded in all the glory of all of its multiple traditions, but also in the great glory of the modern passion for freedom and for all inclusiveness and for democracy. And when you have won, my friends, my beloved friends, when you have won and when you lead and create a new Iran, you will not simply end one vast psychosis, this debased religious authoritarianism created in the name of a demented version of Islam. You will not only have done that, which is a heroic and amazing achievement, you will be showing the whole world what it takes to actually effect change, and what people of great nobility and courage are like when they come through, and what a world, what a glorious, just, harmonious, all-inclusive world they can create. And your example and the new Iran that will rise like a great golden tree from your blood will be one of the leaders of humanity into the creation of a new world. I know this in the depths of my heart, and I think you know this, which is why you are doing what you are doing. And for those of you who are listening who are Westerners, and especially for you who are Americans, I want to say this. It is not enough to be awed by the courage of the Iranian revolutionaries. It is not enough even to raise your voice in their honor. You must realize that the West now is facing a terrible wave of authoritarianism, and that the United States is threatened by fascism. What all of us must do who really care about the future of our planet, the future of every child, every animal, every tree, every plant, what all of us must do is to take the example of our heroic friends, the Iranian revolutionaries, and realize that we now must be prepared to put our lives on the line so that the survival of humanity has a chance. So don't just indulge in love and sending prayers and all the rest of that. Realize that your time is coming when you too will be asked to defend freedom with all you are. And when you do, you will have the example of these amazing young women and young men who have risen up against a psychotic regime and who are giving everything they are, risking their very lives to stand up for the kind of world we all now must be prepared to give everything to sustain and create. I love you. And my dear friends in Iran, you are never far from my deepest thoughts. And I send you so much strength, so much hope against hope, so much radical belief in yourself. You will win and you will lead us all through the example you've already given and that you will give in these coming months to the creation of a new, just world. And we love you with everything we are, and we salute you and bow to you.
Very fiery, loving message after Sri Preethaji took us into embodying water and tranquility. So I hope that you feel the balance of the two elements. It's a joy for me to introduce the next speaker to you, who is my dear friend, Marianne Williamson. For over 3 decades, Marianne has been a beloved leader in spiritual and religiously progressive circles. She's the author of 14 books, 4 of which have been #1 New York Times bestsellers, and she's a political activist. I'm going to turn the floor over to you, dear Marianne. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you, Banafsheh. It's wonderful to see you again, although none of us are happy about the circumstances that have brought us together. I'd like to begin by echoing not only the things that you have said, but also the profound words of my colleague and friend, Andrew Harvey, who expressed what is in so many of our hearts. I know that this video is being watched and listened to by, and will be, by many people in the world. I'm also aware that whether it is 1 or 1,000 people in Iran who have the opportunity to watch this, to hear this, I have some things as an American woman I'd like to say. One cannot even imagine the enormity of your grief, of your fear, and of your pain. So many layers of trauma, not only your trauma, but the traumas of your mothers and your grandmothers, of your sisters, of your friends. And this is also true for you, the men in Iran who are supporting this extraordinary revolution. So the first thing I want to make clear is that, yes, your courage is seen, but your grief is seen. Your human suffering is seen. And for those of us who, on a material plane, have very little power to affect your circumstances, I hope you realize how many people all around the world are praying that you be strengthened that you be blessed, that you be accompanied by cosmic forces as you go through this. Andrew described it as an atrocious fire, and he is so correct. Martin Luther King Jr. said there is a redemptive power in unearned suffering. So the first thing I want you to know in your suffering, that your suffering is witnessed to. And your courage, your bravery, your perseverance, your willingness to put everything on the line so that life will be different for your daughters is all the more meaningful because of how much grief and suffering and loss accompanies you on this journey. Please remember, the weight of history would declare that while those who oppose you have been seen before, over time, the victory is yours. Theodore Parker said, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. There is a world unseen. It is the world we know to be true in our hearts. The world where we love one another. The world where we are hardwired for connection. And the world where we yearn to spread our wings, to create and to produce. And it is particularly ironic that Iranian history and Iranian culture is the Persian culture among the most brilliant on the planet. It is inbred within you that you want to express that brilliance, that you want to be a participant, not only in the Iranian, but in the worldly species potential of self-actualization. That is the fire that burns within you. That is the fire that burns within us all. I don't want to be in these limited circumstances. I don't want someone to tell me how to dress, how to act, what to do, or how to be. That is the fire of freedom. That is the fire of freedom for women throughout the world and for men throughout the world. We don't want to be bound. We don't want to be limited. And we only take so much before we say no. This has always been true. And you are embodying that right now. You are saying no. And you are saying no to that which is intolerable. Even as Andrew said, under circumstances where the risk is tremendous. We see that. And every time you make that stand, you are sending a ripple of hope to people all over the world who, as Andrew said, are facing in our own ways and in varying degrees the scourge of authoritarianism. Yesterday in Brazil, democracy and freedom and liberty won a great, great struggle. You know, as an American, we grew up, people of my generation grew up knowing that the United States had been an inspiration to other people. In some ways we have. I know for those of you in Iran, you don't have any illusions about the history of the interface of Iranian democracy with the United States. I know that. Today, the United States is having its own reckoning, and we are being inspired by people in other parts of the world, because as Andrew said, we're down too right now. And we are being inspired by you. We are being inspired inspired by people in Brazil. We know that this is a global struggle. This is about the evolution of the species. Not just that we are Brazilian or we are Iranian or we are American or we are Italian or we are anything else. We are human. And the human race now is evolving into the next stage of our journey. It is a new millennium. It is a new century. And many of you, women in Iran, I know some of you are very young. I know that many of you who have suffered, many who have died, have hardly been adults. We're told of teenagers. A teenager today, a young person today was not even born in the 20th century and knows I don't deserve to live my life at the effect of bad ideas left over from the 20th century. And yes, throughout history, as Andrew described it, demented ideas around religion have been used for dictatorial and brutal purposes. The human race will not survive unless there is an impulse of life, an impulse of no to what is intolerable and yes to that which we choose to give birth to now. Suppressing women is an ancient trope because passionate, free-thinking women give birth to passionate, free-thinking children, and passionate, free-thinking children become passionate, free-thinking adults who cannot be manipulated or easily controlled. Of course, they suppress women. And women throughout the world and women throughout history are not only supporting you now, but your ancestors are supporting you. Women throughout history from all over the world, their spirits are supporting you, for you are expressing what they are not here to express, and you are making your grandmother so proud. A woman gives birth with her body. A child is conceived, new life is conceived, and then it gestates. And the woman is pregnant with it, and then it's time at a certain point to give it birth. The same is true with the new world. We have conceived the idea of a world in which all human beings are free to self-actualize, in which all human beings are free to be, to do, to take the journey of their own manifestation of their own God-given potential. That is the quest for freedom. It's an idea conceived in the mind, and we are gestating. We are pregnant with this world as yet to be born. As Arundhati Roy said, a new world is struggling to be born. The women and men in Iran who are going through this atrocious fire are leading the birth. It is a difficult, difficult labor. And you are doing such an extraordinary job. Angels are accompanying you. Ancestors are accompanying you. The prayers and best wishes of people all around the world are accompanying you. You are not alone. You are accompanied by cosmic power, as Martin Luther King said. And on the other side of this pain, on the other side of this horror, on the other side of this grief, there's another world. And this new world will be celebrated. And this new world will be filled with people who remember their ancestors who gave birth to that world where they could be free. Your names will be on their hearts. Your names will be in their memories. Your names. Your wish is to reclaim your own freedom, and your wish is to reclaim the real brilliance of Persian culture. There cannot be a country that expresses fully its brilliance, its power, unless its people are free to create that brilliance. And women are half the human race. You can't tell a nation, go be great, but tell its women to sit down, to limit themselves. As Andrew said, this is a struggle that is global. It is going on in varying degrees around the world. But everybody knows Iran today is ground zero. It's not just what has been done to you, the women of Iran, to which you are saying no more. It is also that very fact of the suppression, the institutional suppression of women in Iran, is the reiteration of an ancient, horrifying trope to hold women down. The world cannot be what it can be, what it shall be. The human race cannot be what it can be, what it shall be, if women and girls are not given the opportunity to be all that we can be. In all the great religious and spiritual systems of the world, that world, the world in which physical manifestation and material reality are aligned with the truth in our hearts, it is promised to us. And so today I share with you not only my empathy, my compassion, that I know is an expression that I give on behalf of millions and millions and millions of people who feel it too, not only our admiration, not only our awe before you, not only our prayers for your safety, for your blessing, for your protection, and for your success, for your victory. I share with you also the promise of the ages, a reminder that the moral arc of the universe, while it is long, does bend toward justice. You are women of an ancient culture. Ancient cultures carry something in your DNA, an ancient knowing. You were doing this for yourselves. You were doing this for your country. You were doing this for the human race. And it is not unrecognized. You are seen. People you will never meet. People you will never know about are posting about your struggles on social media. They are writing articles. They're getting whatever information they can. They are helping you in any way you can. Millions of people throughout the world. You are not alone. And if even one of you, because I know it's not easy to have access to any of this, but if even one of you hears me, keep this in your heart. You are not alone. And for those who believe, there is the belief that not only are millions of people with you, God is with you. Act wisely, act bravely, act courageously, but act wisely. Take care of yourself as best you can. Take care of each other. This too shall pass. And as Andrew Harvey said, you will lead. You are leading. You are the bearers of new life for your sisters, for your daughters. You are honoring your ancestors, your great-great-grandmothers. You are honoring your children. You are on your way there. That point of deliverance, of resurrection, of promised land, of whatever words you wish to use, that which is on the other side of this exists. It exists in my mind. It exists in your mind. Keep it in your mind. It is your lodestar, and it will guide you. Be careful. Do what everything in your heart and gut is guiding you to do. Do it with love. Do it with passion. Do it knowing you are aided. You are being pushed from behind by the spirit of liberty and the spirit of peace and the spirit of a new world struggling to come forth. It's a difficult labor, but this new world shall be born. From the depths of my spirit, I bow before you. I bow before that which is alive within you. You are leading the way, not only for your country, but for all of us who see deeply your struggle. I pray for you with the prayers that I will somehow, with that prayer, with that posting, with that participation in whatever way I can, serve you. But I want you to know, and I know I say this not only for myself, but for so many others, you have served me. I know I will be a more courageous woman in my life because of you. I bless you. And I will continue to pray for you without ceasing, to keep you in my heart and to keep you in my mind forever and forever. You are servants of a new world. Thank you.
Marianne, thank you so much.
Thank you,
And
Bashe.
I thank you on my behalf and behalf of the women in Iran. I'm sure they are so inspired by your heartfelt message, by your blessing.
Well, thank you for creating this bridge so that there can be this communication. Thank you, and my honor to you for doing this. Thank you. God bless you, darling.
Thank you, darling. God bless you. Everyone, I think it's time now to rise, like Marianne was saying, rise, and let's also take care of ourselves. Let's move our body and release stagnant energy and ground and center ourselves. So many of these blessings that we've been hearing, we want to embody them. We want to embody them and spread them. So please join me by rising. We'll just do a short movement practice before we get ready for our shared intention. So as you're joining me standing, I'm going to ask you to bring your hands onto your heart and let your feet be as wide as your hips. And you bring your heels down one at a time. Sense that you're bringing your heels down into peace, into the yin energy of the earth, with deep reverence to the earth. And as you're bringing your heels down, sense a sway in your hips, your torso, neck, head. And can we now bring our heels down into peace a little bit faster? Pick up the tempo. And even faster. Drawing up the peace, the vibration of peace into your legs, into your hips, into your waist. And draw the vibration of peace up into your whole torso. Feel it in your shoulders, arms and hands, your neck, your head. And now please bounce. And with this gentle bouncing, release the back of your head, your shoulders. Release your upper back, middle back, low back. Buttocks, back of your legs. Give yourself a good shaking in your whole back. Release your back. Flowing with your breath, inhaling and exhaling out of your nose. And please join me by releasing the front of your body now. And come in touch with what you're releasing. Release some of that fear and worry. Release tension. Sides of your body. Release judgments. Doubts, judgment toward yourself and others. Open some of those chains of smallness and unworthiness. Open them. And let's give all of it to Spirit, to the beloved, to transform into love. And bring your hands down, bringing the transformed love down the central channel of your body, and pour the transformed love into the earth and step. If you're planting the seeds of love with your stepping, good. Roll your shoulders, and in your own way, shake to release. Bringing the healing shaking to the places you feel that you need to be more open. Releasing some of the tensions and the burdens that so many of us carry. Beautiful. And can you join me now by stepping your knees up, press down your legs with resistance. Good. Bring your arms up, shake. And bring your arms down. Step. Side to side, twisting shake. Draw the shaking up into your shoulders. Look down, release your neck, and look forward. Step again, shake out your wrists, arms and hands. Loosen up your neck. Side shake, releasing from your shoulder all the way to tips of fingers. Other side. And look forward again, straighten, back to vertical. good, good. And side to side stepping. Draw your knee up. Hands in prayer position. Pray, fly, pray, fly, pray, fly. Slowing down. Pray, fly, pray, fly, pray, fly. Roll your shoulders, please. And now that we have energized ourselves, let's journey into creating more spaciousness, creating peace. Because the more we are relaxed within ourselves, the more we can reach for a peaceful state, the more effective we are, the more we can respond to the situation at hand with more of ourselves, with more wholeness. So I'm going to ask you to bring your hands to your low back, rub your back, keep your knees soft. Bringing your hands to a stillness. Rotate your hips. Tune into drawing the energy of the earth up into your legs, into your hips, into your back. Go into a wider rotation. Beautiful. And one more rotation to this side. I'm going to ask you to complete your rotation, your circle. Bring your hands onto your belly. Rotate to the other direction, the small circle. And the wider circle, and also create a circle with your arms. Inhale, opening your arms. Exhale to return to your belly. Beautiful. One more. Completing your rotation, return to with your hands onto your belly, keeping your knees soft and sensing your connection with the earth, lovingly through the soles of your feet. You're going to journey into your shoulders now. Flow with your breath. Open arms. Beautiful. And bringing your hands onto your shoulders, direct your energy down all the way to the ground. Bringing shoulders forward. With arms extending forward and back now. Sense the fluidity along your spine. Sense your neck in line with the rest of your spine. And bring your arms down. Bringing one hand up, take your head to the side. Breathe along your neck, shoulder. And look forward, other arm. Breathe along your neck, shoulder. And directly from here, go side to side. Your knees are straight but not locked, releasing the sides of your body. And extend your arm, open your palm, other one, stretch and go over your head. Stretch with both arms. And open both arms in front of you. Sense the back of your legs, your buttocks, your waist. Trace with your awareness up your spine, back of your neck, head, of your arms, tracing a giant circle in front of you. Beautiful. 2 more with 1, 2. Bringing arms down, twisting around your waist. Look to the back, lift up 1 heel at a time. Two more. 1, 2. And bringing your arms down by your sides, bring 1 hand to your belly. Grow from your belly into your heart and rotate your head. Keeping your knees soft, sensing the ground with your feet. One more rotation to this side. And please complete your rotation. Again, growing from your belly into your heart, engaging your belly and the muscles in your chest and upper back to carry your head to the other direction. And one more rotation to the side. Completing your rotation, look forward, step, and direct your energy down from your head into the rest of your body. Roll your shoulders again, loosen up your spine, loosen up hands, arms. So now that we've created more spaciousness, more awareness in our body, let's take just a couple of minutes to dance in your own way, energizing yourself. Keep flowing with your breath, inhaling in and out of your nose, invigorating yourself in your own way. And can you join me in drumming? Bring your hands up as you continue to drum. Bring your hands back down. Bring your arms slowly up and down again. And bring them up. Bringing your arms down by your sides. Can you please close your eyes just for a few seconds and just feel. And now please, without opening your eyes, bring your arms up slowly by your sides to above your head. And take a deep breath in. With your exhalation, begin to bring your hands down very slowly. Flow with your breath. and sense a glorious column of light, golden light, descend into the top of your head from up above. Follow this light inside your forehead. Follow it down into your neck. Follow it as it travels down the central channel of your body into your heart center. And into your upper abdomen, solar plexus. Follow the light down into your lower belly, your hips. And feel the light in your legs, in your feet, and in the earth. Can you let the light spread from the central channel of your body into your whole body? This blessing, this light, this healing light, this blessed light filling your whole body. Jalaluddin Rumi reminds us when he says, تو به روح بی زوالی ز درونه با جمالی تو از آن ذوالجلالی تو ز پرتو خدایی. By spirit you are deathless, imperishable. You are magnificent from within. You belong to the glorious. You are of divine radiance. You are of divine radiance. Really sense into that. Can you sense into that? Let yourself truly believe that you are of divine radiance. And feel that this divine radiance that you are sensing right now, that you're directing this radiance toward Iran, directing this radiance, this light of certainty from your heart, from your whole being, the light of certainty that the young women and girls and the boys and the men, all of the people who have risen up will triumph, will triumph. That freedom, that democracy will reign, that it will prevail. And feel yourself holding hands, feel all of us holding each other's hands from different parts of the world with our friends, our sisters and brothers in Iran, all of us holding our hands, the hands of love. And now bring your hands together, hold your hands together and sense the hand of your friends. All of us light workers holding hands together, supporting our sisters and brothers in Iran, rising up for themselves and on behalf of freedom and justice that starts in Iran and becomes global. Bringing your hands now by your hearts and onto your heart, embracing yourself. Can you please take a deep breath in? And with your exhalation, open your eyes and let the light of your love shine out through your eyes. Thank you so much, everyone. Let's go down into a reverence, bowing down, connecting our crown with the ground, and slowly rise with soft knees, rolling up your spine, flying your arms up. Yes, victory is certain. And please bring your hands down. Feel yourself filled with blessings and light, and let this light and blessings pour into the earth and out into our world. And please, please, I ask you that whenever you think of Iran, whenever you hear any news, to hold the light of certainty and not let any doubt in. Hold the light of certainty that freedom will prevail, that the freedom fighters will triumph. Zan, zendegi, azadi, woman, life, freedom. I'm going to now invite you to listen to Lynn McTaggart, who is going to guide us into our intention, our shared intention, now that we are ready, now that we have grounded and centered ourselves and released stagnant energy. Lynn McTaggart is the creator of the Intention Experiment, and she's traveling right now. So she has sent us a video that we will share. So please, let's watch this video together and come into a shared intention.
Hi, my name is Lynn McTaggart, and I'm thrilled to be here in this momentous occasion to help the women of Iran, to help everyone in Iran. In 1978, the famous dissident Václav Havel from Czechoslovakia, then Czechoslovakia, now Czech Republic, published a book called The Power of the Powerless. This book got read by being published in Samizdat, which is essentially an underground way of getting material out to other people. It got passed hand to hand, undercover, through the underground. But it was an amazing piece of work, an amazing essay, because it said that in an authoritarian regime, like Czechoslovakia at the time, which was under Soviet rule, it wasn't simply brute force that kept people in line and made certain rules, regulations, and laws prevail. It was the tacit agreement of all of the citizens. Everybody just went along with it. Everybody agreed. Everybody reported on other people who were not doing what the regime asked them to do. So it was by essentially population decree that these things went on. However, a few people, as Havel said, decided to live in truth, as he called it, decided not to do those things, decided to have a parallel life. They just said no. If they were asked to put a placard in their store, they quietly didn't. They passed around material like he did. Now, he went to jail. He went to prison for 4 years because of the power of the powerless. But eventually, his work ended up helping with solidarity, the movement that started in Poland. It moved through Czechoslovakia. It ended up with a velvet revolution. And now, of course, a democracy, the Czech Republic. So every kind of political movement starts small. It starts with one person saying no. And we're now seeing that in Iran. So we're going to do an intention experiment for Iran, for freedom, for the women and their supporters who are protesting. And I want you all to join in. So let me share my screen with you and tell you a little bit about the intention experiments and some of the amazing ways that they work not only on the target, but also on the participants. Let me share this. I'll just get rid of this. And now, here you go. So I started in 2007 to ask a big question. How far can we take intention? Can we cure cancer with our thoughts? Or are we talking about just subtle effects, just moving a quantum particle a shade over to the left? And also, my other question was, what happens when lots of people are thinking the same thought at the same time? Does it magnify the effect? So at the time, I'd published a book called The Field, and I had talked to many frontier scientists working in prestigious universities around the world. And I enlisted them to help me set up intention experiments where they would set up something in a laboratory or out there in the field and measure the outcome after I asked my readers around the world to come onto my website or some other platform, as it was eventually, to send an intention all at the same time. So we started out trying to make seeds grow faster, trying to purify water. We moved on to areas of violence and war-torn areas, and even healed someone of post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, we've done more than 40 experiments to date, 36 of which have shown measurable, positive, mostly significant effects. There's no drug out there with that kind of consistent track record, no pharmaceutical agent that works as well as intention. So just to give you an idea, a few years ago, I did one called a Healing America intention experiment. I broadcast it over Gaia TV, and we focused on the officially most violent place in America, which is St. Louis, Missouri, particularly a neighborhood called Fairground with this kind of real estate, officially the most violent neighborhood in America. So we did an intention just for Fairground over 6 days. We sent just 10-minute intentions. And I then enlisted Dr. Jessica Utz, a professor of statistics at the University of California. And we got hold of data from the police from 3 years before our intention to 6 months afterward. And here's what happened. So violence had been on an upward trajectory everywhere in St. Louis, including Fairground. So with our intention, St. Louis as a whole, violent crime continued to go up. So did property crime in St. Louis as a whole. For Fairground, the property crime continued to go up, but violent crime, the object of our intention, went down by 43%. And I've seen that with every peace intention experiment we've done. And we've done about 10 of them now. Now, I've also worked with a doctor called, a physicist called Dr. Konstantin Korotkov. He is in Russia and worked with, was a professor at St. Petersburg Technical University. He has developed special equipment that measures subtle changes in the atmosphere, subtle changes in the field when people do intention together. So we've run numerous studies, particularly over lockdown. And one of the most recent ones we did was right before the US inauguration. As you probably remember, there was a violence that broke out on January 6th, and a batch of protesters stormed the Capitol. So we did an intention to lower violence in Washington, D.C. the Sunday before the US inauguration. Now, for this intention, I enlisted people from opposite sides, polarized individuals. So I had Republicans, I had Democrats, I had Black Americans, African Americans, I had members of the police, I had a former jihadist, I had people from all political persuasions come together to do this intention. And I'll explain why shortly. So we did this kind of intention We did an intention to be immediately free of all violent protest and for everybody, for the hearts of Americans to be healed toward each other. Now, Dr. Korotkov had his equipment running in St. Petersburg, Russia. And he discovered that just at the point of our intention, notice that little bar, there was an extreme reaction on his equipment. Now, remember, that is, thousands of miles away. So we've done that. We've done this about 5 times together and always found that when we are doing an intention, and these have always been for peace or healing in some way, there's been a huge reaction on his equipment, thousands of miles away. More evidence of a psychic internet that gets created with intention experiments, a kind of field effect. And just to remind you, the people participating in this experiment were from everywhere around the world. We had participants in Canada, the US, South America, Africa, Europe, Russia, Scandinavia, even Australia. People participating, and yet we had an effect. But something else happened. And that something else is even more powerful than what happens to the target. I always survey people after we do an intention experiment. I'm going to survey you for this experiment too. And I basically ask people how it was for them. Were they able to get on? Were they able to participate? And I always find amazing results. And this has been going on since 2008. So just for instance, in that intention experiment for Washington, we found this. When we asked people any changes in relationships, 40% said they feel more love for their loved ones. 26%, more than a quarter, are getting along with people not like them, people they normally argue with. 41% feel more loving toward themselves. 30% more tolerant of people who aren't like them. 28% forgive things about themselves they regret. 45% more loving toward the world in general. But the biggest one of all, half of the people, 50%, said they feel more love for everyone they come in contact with. Everyone they come in contact with. Essentially, they're hugging strangers. Now, some of the specifics were incredible. Things like, my partner's more caring, someone wrote in, and I feel more love for him. Someone else, the relationship wasn't too good with some of the neighbors, but suddenly they came to see them in a very friendly way, dropped in out of nowhere with no preliminaries, just became friendlier. My sister and I hardly talk. We're polar opposites, but we've been talking every day since the experiment. My husband is opening up and we can get things sorted out. We've started talking without accusing each other at last. And finally letting go of needing to control and keep helping my children. I feel happy, light, ready for a huge change in my life. I get back thousands of these kinds of comments. Plus, we have people saying they want to do something different with their lives. They find a more meaningful life of service, a desire to have a new life purpose. 41% said they want to work for peace or heal areas of high violence. One person said, I just interviewed with a nonprofit in my neighborhood that works with homeless women to help them get back on their feet. Someone else, it's easier for me to open up my heart again and again during the day and just feel the good and beautiful in me. There are not so many negative thoughts anymore. The negative can't break through my tank and it feels so good. Someone else, I'm so thankful for this experiment. Healing this area means a lot to me and to the world. Someone else, I'm less fearful of strangers on the street. I approached a homeless man who was crying. It didn't occur to me to be afraid. Someone else, and many people say this really brings hope like nothing else ever has. And we found a third of people report physical improvements. Things like no longer needing an asthma spray or a painful shoulder being healed or hernia surgery that occurred the day before the experiment, not resulting in any kind of pain, a very painful operation. Somebody else saying they have more energy, somebody else saying they feel like they're losing weight, somebody else saying they feel younger, more flexible, and someone else less stress, burnout, and chronic pain from work, feeling more peace and calm. And we get these kinds of responses all the time. So when I started doing this in 2007, I suddenly recognized there is a big mirror effect that goes on here. So it's not just the target, it's also the participants that heal from doing an intention experiment. It's quite extraordinary. So this, and as I saw this started giving me a big idea. What if we brought polarized people together? I had done this in the 10th anniversary of 9/11. I was tired of seeing those buildings going down. I thought we need another optic here. So I often do talks in the Middle East with a fellow called Dr. Salah al-Rashid, who is like the Deepak of the Middle East. He's got a huge following, and I do a lot of talks there as well as everywhere else. And I enlisted him and his followers to take part in an intention to lower violence in the two southern districts, the two southern provinces of Afghanistan. So we had Americans and Westerners, and we also had Arabs from just about every Arab city, all doing intention together. Now, we got a report back from NATO eventually showing that just those provinces we focused on had a 780% lowering of violence. Did we do this? You know, big question, who knows? In a war zone, there are lots of variables that can cause a change. But what I started noticing was that the Arabs and the Americans started Facebooking each other. On my Facebook page, they started sending love to each other. They started forgiving each other. They started connecting together. So 10 years later, or almost 10 years later, I decided to focus on an area of Jerusalem, which was experiencing a lot of violence, particularly the Damascus Gate area. And for this experiment, I enlisted Dr. Al-Rashid again. He had special equipment. I went to his studio, and we were able to put cameras into 9 different locations. 8 of those locations were conference rooms filled with Arabs from different cities in Kuwait, in Saudi Arabia, in Jordan, in many, many areas of the Middle East. And then the 9th camera was put in an audience of Israeli Jews. So we did our intention together. And then because of the special equipment, I could talk to them, they could talk to me, they could talk to each other. And so here's exactly what happened. So are you ready to begin now, everybody? Our intention is to lower violence and restore peace in the old city of Jerusalem by at least 10% or more. Imagine it with your 5 senses. See people putting down their weapons. See people restoring peace there. See people hugging each other, hugging strangers, reaching across the aisle. Hold those intentions in your mind as you imagine yourself holding the hands of everyone on either side of you. If you're watching on YouTube, imagine you're holding the hands of everybody, all the thousands of people on this call. Can you feel the connection? We were measuring this too. Are you seeing peace? We have someone from
Amman. This amazing experience. We all here crying at the room. Our tears falling down.
Like a big party. I like to have fun, so I feel fun. I feel like I was young again, like I'm in a big party.
Like a commercial that you see on the road, and it was written, the peace is already here. Yes.
Jeddah in Saudi Arabia.
I saw myself there, and I felt very strong love for the Jews, in spite of our raising up to hate the Jews. Beautiful feelings, beautiful images of unity, oneness, love, and peace.
We live in Jerusalem, we know it personally, and I've seen images of hugging, of soldiers and Arab people, of kindness one to another, of flowers all around Damascus Gate. This is so emotional. And I've seen the four quarters of the old city as the four rooms of my personal heart.
Yes, you're on Abu Dhabi. Israelis are dancing, the Palestinians, they hug each other, and we are with the Israelis, like we share peace and love, which is an amazing thing. And I want to thank you and everybody participate in this participation.
Tunisia.
Yes, Tunisia. We saw a lot of children running and laughing. And there is a lot of butterflies and wearing their white clothes and running. And there is a lot of a loud voice of laughing. You took me to the place I really love. I saw there a sunny day, lots of people laughing, lots of joy and happiness. I wish I could stay there. I wish I didn't come back.
My name is Fatima Salemi, and the peace in Arabic means salam, and my name is Salami. So I feel in peace, I feel in love. I love all people in the whole world. I love you so much, and I feel full of love and full of peace. Your God is my God. I love you.
My name is Lily from Jerusalem. It's so overwhelming, the possibility to be connected with you, our sisters in Amman and in Damascus and in Iran and all over. We are thousands, hundreds of thousands of women here saying enough. It's about time to unite. We are one. It's time of compassion.
Now, as with all of my intention experiments, that wasn't hours of meditation. That was 10 minutes. And in 10 minutes, the heart leapt across the fence. Now, what is it that does that? There's information and studies from the University of California at Berkeley showing that when we do something compassionate, like even looking at pictures of starving children, it activates a whole system in us called the vagus nerve, the longest nerve in the body. It winds its way from the neck all through the major organs. And what activates it most is connection with other people, coming together as one. And what ends up happening is we become more tolerant of people not like us. As you saw in that video, Arabs saying to Jews, your God is my God. Jews saying to Arabs, we love you. Both sides were barely speaking to each other when I was setting up this intention experiment. And after it, it was a love fest. So that's what the big piece of an intention experiment is. It doesn't just heal the target, it heals the participants. And that healing, that love, that tolerance becomes a wave that affects everyone out. everyone in their circle, everyone in that person's circle and their friends' circles, and so on. It becomes an extraordinary weave of change. And so that's what we want to create here with Iran. So we're going to do an intention, and I want you all to get comfortable now. This is going to be our intention, so don't start now. We're going to do it for exactly 10 minutes. I'll be playing some music so you have something to focus on. When you are holding this intention, I want you to imagine peace, tolerance, freedom. Allow your mind to visualize the women of Iran to be free, everyone in Iran to be free for any violence, any arrests, immediately and permanently ceased, for people's viewpoints to be respected and listened to, and for peace and tolerance, in particular tolerance and freedom, to prevail. So let's take a deep inhale together. We're going to hold this for 10 minutes. Deep inhale, a deep exhale. A deep inhale, a deep exhale. A deep inhale, and now on the exhalation, I want you to hold the following intention. Our intention is for all government arrests and violence against protesters supporting the women of Iran to immediately and permanently cease, for the women's viewpoints to be respected and listened to by the government and authorities, and for peace, tolerance, and freedom to prevail in Iran. Let's take it down to our hearts as we listen to this music. okay, in your own time, come back onto this webinar, come on back onto this broadcast, come back into the room, come back into the present. Take a deep breath. Move your arms and shoulders, relax, and just feel for a moment what that felt like. Think about for a moment what you saw, what visions you saw of Iran during your meditation, during that intention. Now, I'm sure some of us will share on this broadcast what that meant to us. As one of my participants once said, even though we had a specific target, I felt like we were healing everyone, everywhere at once. So please take note not only of what's happening in Iran, but what's happening in your own heart in the coming days and weeks. And please sign up here with this URL below. Please take a photo of it. If you're not writing it down, please take my survey. It's part of our scientific research. It's part of a document of what happens during intention experiments. So just keep conscious and aware of anything happening to you in your relationships with people, in your sense of peace, anything that has changed. And please let us know on the survey. So this will also be on this live broadcast's website, but just take a note of this and please fill out my survey. And then if you do, I can also tell you the results, what happened in a few weeks. And you can find out more about the intention experiments at lynnmctaggart.com. So let's stop this. I just want to thank you all for taking part in that intention experiment. Don't forget to fill out the survey. It's really important to me and my work. And I hope you enjoy the rest of this broadcast, this historic event. And I want to thank all the organizers for allowing me to participate. And thank you all for showing up and being part of this.
All of you who know how to whirl to join me, to rise and whirl, revolve as a revolutionary act, to spiral our shared intentions, our prayers, our wishes, our love to Iran. Can we have the music?
پاشو بیا بیرون سرتو بالا کن پاشو اسم مهسا رو صدا کن پاشو بیا همه قفلا رو بشکن زن زندگی آزادی زن زندگی آزادی پاشو بیا بیرون شهرتو پس بگیر اختیار فرداتو دست بگیر پاشو بیا بیرون دیروزو ول کن زن زندگی آزادی زن زندگی آزادی بزا برزه کوش باز
زن زندگی آزادی, woman, life, freedom. Here's to freedom in Iran. And thank you to everyone. So much love for you, so much love to you.